Okay, we're gonna begin again. I'm not sure what the heck is happening here, but anyway, you just never know. I just never know. Let's put it that way. Okay, so let's get started again. Okay, in 2026 predictions. Um it was the energies for 26 are very new. And it's hard to recognize them. I'm just not going to beat around the bush here. I'm just going to really like dig in and be super laser focused. So it's going to be hard to recognize the new energies because they're so new. We're not really comfortable connecting with them, for one thing. And their vibration is so fast, it's so rapid that if we aren't internally rapid, then chances are we just can't connect with it. So, but this energy is really, I was talking probably 4 years ago about creation energy. We are living it now. There's no more like getting ready for it, healing ourselves, doing any of those things. It's literally we are in it. It's all about being alive, feeling alive, and thriving. Like that whole thriving component is also very intense, that thriving kind of energy. And what is that really? I can tell you that nature and the arts are the two avenues that work the best to access these levels of consciousness. So keep that in mind, nature and the arts, any kind of arts. I don't care if you're dancing in the woods or whatever it is, those are the two avenues that are going to work. 98% of the energy is going to be focused on that feminine energy and creating a new feminine energy. It's not about, if you think you know your feminineness or what new feminine energy is, you're lying to yourself. You're probably playing in the old energy, and you're just not. That's not what the new feminine is. I can tell you that this feminine energy is here to break harmony. It's here to break it open so something unprecedented can emerge. I should probably say that again. This new creative energy is here to break harmony within us. Oof, I can feel how everybody's like, what? Hey, if you guys have questions, please put them in the thing and I'll answer them as best as I can. But this new feminine energy, the expression of it is going to require four very deep things that we've been sort of playing around with, but some new things like friction. Friction is one of those. Here's the deal: in this universe, on Earth, you cannot create anything new without friction, because we live in a world of duality, and so you have to have the positives and the negatives in order to create. Period. Desire is also something that's being required, like your deepest soul desires. I'm not talking about a new car or a new house. I'm talking about soul desires here. They are not equal and they are not the same. Visibility, being seen, not necessarily by the world, but by yourself. Like that one thing right there, if you can do that in 26, your life will be good. And longing that remains unfinished. So in the past, we've always been trained to sort of complete things, or, we're looking for a completion or an end date or something like that. That doesn't exist any longer either, because you can't create end completion energy. It just doesn't work. So peace and harmony have functioned in the past as protective shields. Now, there hasn't been not one of us who doesn't want, peace and harmony in our lives. But I can tell you that moving into 26 and particularly in 27, that peace and harmony is nothing more than a protective shield. And it's probably not going to even protect you moving in the future, because it's just, what it does is it just creates numbness moving forward because we have such dynamic energy for birth that those protective shields are just going to turn into numbness. You're going to be very passive, and it's going to be very um, like not even a reality kind of thing. You're going to be just floating around in the ethers for a while if you keep the protective shields. This system is, this energies are really rejecting neutrality. You could probably feel that in your bones right now, is like the rejection of neutrality, because what neutrality is doing now in this new energy is it's dissolving your purpose. So what happens when we dissolve our purpose? Well, there's a bit of anger that comes up. And if you haven't already experienced it, I can guarantee you're going to experience some type of anger in 26. Now, if you're like most of us, we've been working on ourselves for a while now, and it's hopefully we've worked through some of that anger energy, but there's two types of anger energy right now. There's shadow anger, and there's this awakening anger, which is very full of fire. So how you can tell the difference is shadow anger just leashes out. It just goes crazy, comes unglued. It doesn't work. Just literally does not work. Awakening energy, though, is it claims aliveness. Like there's a deep, there's a deep drive within you. And it clears out these false peace flags that we've been playing around in for probably a good 20 years now. This falseness of, oh, I just want to feel peaceful. I just want to have a peaceful life. You can't have that in a world of duality. I mean, you have to have one or the other, I suppose, but then you're just in further separation when that happens. So is everything making sense so far? We're all good? All right, cool. All right. So what happens when this shifting energy is like we're in it, right? Like we're already in it. It's not, doesn't happen on January 1. We're already in it. What happens is you cannot be fully alive and fully protected. They just, and be in creative energy. If you're going to be in creative energy, you have to be fully alive. The safety that created that peace now becomes numbness. Like you literally become numb, like a zombie numbness. I'm talking that kind of numbness. Hiding creates calm, but in this new energy, you become invisible. Spaciousness, it literally, like when we say we want to just be in peace and have space and harmony and all those things, what's going to happen in this creative energy is it's going to completely dissolve your direction and you're just going to flounder. Now, I've floundered in the past. It's not even anything like this kind of floundering. I mean, this floundering is like, it's so intense and it's so, I just don't even have words to describe it. Like I don't have words to describe the extreme bliss that I've experienced in some of my experiences. I can't even describe how this floundering, misdirection, numbness, like you're just dead, like you're just a walking zombie, literally. I mean, we're living through it. So this new feminine energy is no longer meant to rest in receiving. Again, that's not creative energy. It's old paradigm kind of energy. It's that stagnant masculine kind of energy that will fully oppress you. Receiving now means that you're allowing desire to really disturb your equilibrium. I'm going to repeat that one. Receiving now means that you allow desire, that burning, creative kind of energy to completely disturb your equilibrium. Now, this doesn't mean that we become off kilter or anything like that. What it literally means is that we become even more focused and more aligned. Because if we think about ourselves, if we think about our own ability to create, um, like if you've had a child, let's say, that womb is never closed, right? But it consents to pressure. That's what it's like to sort of disturb your own equilibrium in this new energy. It consents to the pressure, but um, it doesn't compress or collapse to the pressure. Hopefully that makes sense. It doesn't collapse and it doesn't like turn into something else, but it consents to the pressure. Oh, I'm feeling that pressure, but yet it starts to use that pressure in order to create something even bigger and better. Okay, I gotta look at my notes here. 1 second. We are sort of at a crossroads in 26 because 27 is where the DNA literally goes through a change. And so we are literally at a crossroads this year, and decisions have to be made. Like we cannot escape decision making in this new energy, particularly the feminine. Now, what the feminine's been going through over the past 5 years, I want to say, the masculine will start to go through in 26. So just be aware of that. I'm not saying we have to help them in any way, because if we help them, then we're just going to try to save them. That never works. And creative energy doesn't ever save anything. It just creates. So because you cannot be fully alive and protected all at the same time, those shields of peace, they become that numbness that I said, hiding in safety or feeling safe, becomes unreal. Like it's just not even like you're just floating in the ethers then. And your system, your body is the one that's going to be the key for 26. The embodiment component it's not even a choice at this point. We're either going to embody this creative energy, or life's going to it's going to be torturous. I'm just going to say it. It's going to be pretty dang hard and tough. So this shift requires participation. This creative energy requires you to participate. In the future, as we move through this energy, do not do these things. Do not ask yourself how or why or what will I become. Do not ask those kinds of questions, because that pulls you back into history. Those 3 things, how, why, and what will it be or what will I become, will pull you back into history. We cannot take history into creative energy, into creation. So a really good question to help you move through this is, what is worth losing? What is worth losing in order for me to use creative energy or be in creative energy? I can tell you that there is going to be what's the word? I'm trying to look for this word, because let's not even go there. Okay. The other component of this feminine creative kind of energy is Eros. And I'm not talking about sexual Eros. I am talking about the kind of energy that just wants to seize you. Like it wants to be seized by life. Like that's this burning desire that's rising up in every feminine person in the world, is this seize by life kind of energy, this new version of, I don't even want to call it love because it's really not love, but it's being created through the feminine in 26. And there's no history in humans that have ever been at this level of Eros. And I'm not talking about romantic fairy tale Aphrodite versions of love here. I'm talking about the kind that requires that burning anger. And it's not necessarily in the elemental world. Fire and anger are the two things that make things die, but yet at the same time, they recreate. Anger clears out that false sense of peace and safety that we don't need any longer. And you cannot have those false sense of peace and safety if you're in creation. What it does do is it does make room for wanting again. And if you're going into 26 and you do manifestation boards or vision boards or anything like that, and you're asking yourself, what is it that you really want? And you can't come up with hardly anything, I can guarantee you all you have to do is connect with this creative kind of energy, and it will burn down the ignorance around not wanting or not knowing. And it will make your wants and desires like completely full centered. What Eros does is it's this creative hunger. That's really what Eros is it's a creative hunger. And it needs anger, because without anger, that creative hunger just collapses back into nostalgia. But with creative anger and Eros, man, that creative fire, like it burns brightly. So what is it that you're willing to lose, to risk losing, to live inside this level of Eros, or this level of creative fire, or this level of love even? Not with another person, but with life itself. 26 is a very independent kind of energy. And I can guarantee you that if you're living inside of this creative kind of energy, this Eros creative hunger, desires, gotta create something new, especially inside of you, I can guarantee you there's going to be a cost. Now, before you go down that rabbit hole of, oh my God, my loved ones are going to leave me. No, that's not what we're talking about here. I can tell you that your neutrality is probably going to be one of the costs. I can tell you that your invisibleness will be one of the costs. I can tell you that your spiritual safety will be one of the costs. I can tell you that your deep desire to just hover and observe and hang out will be one of the costs. And this creative fire would give you something far more dangerous and alive, because a life that burns with such deep, deep meaning, instead of resting in peace, is one that will create a whole new world. And I know that because you're on here, you've had that pull. So what changes now? You literally stop asking, well, is this in alignment with who I am? Am I ready? Will this land? Is this, is this going to get rid of my perfectionism? Like all of those kinds of things just completely disappear. But if you are playing in those things, or if you're, the mind is still trapped there, that's what you need to recognize, is that there's still a trap. Those are the things that you really want to change, is those old programmings. They have to go because you can't take them into creation, especially not this kind of creative energy. So what does this mean for you in the future? Well, initiating. Like, you have to initiate things. Declaring, like, I've started this new little thing of, let me read it to you. There's 7 things, I think. First thing is, I appreciate, I feel, I desire, I wait for my instructions, I'm committed, and then I add Eros into that. So I go out and I create something. I mean, it could be just, doodling. It doesn't have to be a gigantic thing. It's just, you have to create some sort of, you have to be in that creative kind of energy field. The other thing that I've noticed is, like, that's my whole declaration now. Like, that's my whole meditation. That's like everything right there. The other thing that I've noticed is that letting desire be visible within me without any kind of completion, like zero amount of completion. Because every time I try to have this sort of completion thingy, it like fails. Or fulfillment, like everything has to be fulfilled. That kind of energy is in the past. We're in this energy of this. Is it complete? It's visibly loving. That's what I hear in my head is visibly loving. That's all you need to do. Move on. Try something else. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about quickly is desire, our desires. There's a lot of people getting hung up on desires because there's 2 definitions, 2 different kinds of desire. One is desire that waits for fulfillment of proof or as proof, right? Like desire that literally is having to have some type of completion. And then there's desire that moves for expression as aliveness. What you want to look for in your desires is fire. Like, does this create an internal fire in me? Fulfillment may follow, but we're not focused on the ending any longer. We're focused on that fire. I can tell you that creation now demands limitations, and not in the limitations that we used to think of in the past. Creation demands one channel and one channel only. One focus only. It's like in the Bible, and I don't know much about the Bible, but in the Bible, they say that God created, the earth in 7 days. Well, one focus per day. Only this year is going to be one entire focus. Or maybe you can do it in 2 focuses, like half of the year one focus and then the next half of the year another focus. But there's no jumping in between channels here. Like, I'm going to focus on this today and then this tomorrow. No, you're still in chaos energy if you're doing that. It's just one focus. One focus. Another limitation is accepting incompleteness. Like, if we're having a conversation or something and we feel like, oh, you know how in the past it used to be like, oh, that feels complete. It's probably not going to feel that way anymore. Because in creative energy, there's nothing that's completed ever. Ever. It might be stalemated or it might be stagnant, but there's no completion. And another limitation is allowing or letting other possibilities die, at least for now, at least for this portion of the year in 26, that will probably open up again later. But for right now, letting other possibilities just completely die and not having any regret or remorse or guilt or anything around them. Another limitation is agreeing to be misunderstood, because here's what's happening is there's a really big spread in the conscious field right now. And so the extreme opposites are what's at play. Not necessarily the middle any longer. It's the extreme opposites. You can see it all over. Governments in particular, the world in particular. Like there's extreme, you have these extremities, right? And so being misunderstood by someone who is on the opposite end of the spectrum, nobody cares. Agree that you can be misunderstood. Like literally, it will save you a lot of mental torment. Now, it may feel like death, but grief for what isn't chosen. It's not grief for what was chosen and now you lost it and now you have regret or resentments. It's grief for what isn't chosen. You may feel some grief around or fear around narrowing, niching in, having that one focus. This isn't a niche. It's a one focus. It's a one channel kind of thing. It's my fire, my desire. That might be the only channel, or that should be the only channel. And you might have anger. I experienced this 2 years ago, anger at losing vastness. Like I was sort of very prideful in being eclectic and having all these avenues of consciousness. But since I've been focusing in and having that one channel open, some of those have gone away, which they didn't really serve me anyway, and they weren't really doing much. I just like playing in them. So let's think about this for a second, though, because if we're really in this fiery kind of energy, this beautiful, new, creative kind of energy, peace and clarity, peace is not gone forever. It will return after moments, and there will be even deeper experiences of peace for you when you're focused on that one channel. You'll have deeper experiences of peace and extreme clarity. But I can tell you also that clarity doesn't come first. We've always been looking for clarity. That's old energy. Clarity comes after the desire, or sometimes in the middle of the desire. So what should you do to move through this energy? Create daily. Create something daily. Maybe it's cooking. Maybe it's, I don't know, just singing or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but playing in that creative energy every single day. Try not to explain too much, because in creative energy, meaning cannot come in the middle of it because you've just stopped the creative energy. So when we're interpreting or explaining something or trying to put some sort of meaning to it, we stop that creative energy. So try not to do that as much as possible and just leave things open for interpretation. Another thing that should be a practice every single day is don't check alignment. Because what if we do? We, again, stop the energy. Creative energy is on a roll. It's very like speed oriented. And you'll notice that time is like so fast these days, but it's going to get any faster even in 26. And because creative energy loves speed. But here's the process of how it really works is there's creation first, creative energy first, and you're just focused on creation. Meaning comes later. And then clarity even comes after that. The way we've been working the whole process of having clarity and then putting meaning to it and then create it was always backwards. It was always backwards. And now we're finally creating the right process for things. All right, there's lots of other predictions I could go through, like the medical world is going to change dramatically. And anyone who does holistic forms of medicine is probably going to be sought out more than anybody else in the world. So if you're in that realm, go for it, make it bigger, but have that one channel. Speed, time is going to just completely speed up. Will there be chaos? There probably, yeah, because we're still at the extremes. I feel like that's going to get better as we go through 26, but humans are so unpredictable. You never really know what they're going to do with that chaotic energy, you just can't predict them. Will it get less and less as the year goes through? It could for a little while, but then, we have a lot of planetary issues again this year in 26. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's open it up for discussion and question because I'm tired of talking. Go for it.
Okay. My question is because I'm one that puts too many things in a basket. And so Cindy and I are working on something, and I'm also working towards something in the city, and they're similar. Is that one goal, or should I? No, that's too many goals. Dang.
Well, as long as the focus is one goal, like what's the big umbrella focus?
So basically, I guess for me, because I teach yoga and I have all these different modalities, I've been working on how to bring everything together
That's
and offer.
what you probably should be doing is bringing it all together.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So are you feeling this kind of energy, or am I just way too far ahead of energy? I'm always ahead of the curve when it comes to energy and knowing where we're at as a humanity and as we grow and expand. I'm always at least 5 years ahead. So I actually went through all of this in 2020. But I also cleared a lot of the things away so that most everyone doesn't have to go through it unless you choose. I'm not going to say that 26 is going to be a real easy year. For a lot of people, it's going to be horrible. Just because the mental and emotional bodies are still up in the ethers and they're still trying to pull from the past. That's what's going to be detrimental. That is what will be detrimental, because this cosmic kind of consciousness that's coming in, it doesn't have human past. It doesn't have human, the divine, when it wants to create something, it creates through us, right? It doesn't create something and then we play it out. Mm-hmm. That's a lie. It creates through us. And so if it wants to see something in a whole different or create something brand new, we're the ones that actually have to work through it. Mm-hmm. As a human. And so when we're working through some of these things, it can be pretty hard. It can be harsh. It can be very. Here's the deal. When I was really young, like I don't have much memory of my childhood, but I remember this. You cannot go crazy this lifetime. That's what I heard over and over and over and over in my head. You cannot go crazy this lifetime. So I can tell you that this pressure that we're going to experience in 26, a lot of people will just hop over the fence and go into the crazy world, honestly, because it's intense. No joke, it's intense. And I'm sure you can all feel it. You can all sense it.
Hey, I have a question.
Yeah.
I do multiple events a month, and you say focus on one thing.
Well, but the events are the same kind of event, right? So as long as that's considered one thing,
Okay.
it's like, it's like art. So I channel my art. Most of you probably know already. I channel my art. That doesn't mean that I can't go out and do sales. It doesn't mean that I can't go out and do gallery events. It doesn't mean that I can't go out and do, private showings. Like all of those things play into that. My main thing, the channel that I am focusing on is creation. And the more creative energy I can do, the more I grow for sure, right? And my family is also recognizing it. So, we just change the world that way instead of thinking we have to go out and, I don't know, do something crazy to change the world. It starts with us. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. So, you have to look at what the umbrella is. What's the big focus? Like mine is transformation. I've always been here to transform people, things. Like that's the energy that I carry is transformative energy. You come into my circle and you're going to be transformed some way, somehow, right? So you just have to ask yourself, what's my big focus? Am I a healer? I used to play in the healer world. That's also transformative. So, you gotta start looking at what it is. What's the big thread? It's a soul thread. It's not a mind thread. You can figure that out by looking back in your life and saying, okay, what's the one thing that everyone has always recognized me as or by? The one thing. That's your main soul thread. Sometimes we don't want to see it. Questions? Any other questions, comments? Anything else you want to know? I'm an open book.
I have a question. I have been feeling a lot of big energy shifts like in the last month or two of just mm, seeing kind of a lot of like the falseness, I guess, in the maybe the spiritual world, let's say.
Yeah.
And
There's a
so,
I'm going to interrupt you for a second,
yeah,
Brittany. There is a shit ton of falseness in that spiritual world.
yeah, it's awful.
It's horrible. Sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. Um, but it's made me kind of go into probably this month, I feel like I've been kind of going into like hermit mode.
Yeah, you can't be there.
Yes. So this is all making a lot of sense because I'm like, oh, I want to feel safe. I don't really care about the peace and harmony crap, but like I feel like I'm more protective of myself because of a lot of this falseness. But I've also realized like for me, I don't want to spend any more time promoting myself in the online world. I want to be back in like in-person stuff and getting that connection again. And so that's where I'm leaning going into the new year, but I'm just kind of curious what you're feeling with that.
Well, here's a way that you can, great question. And a great way to know that is, does the in person create fire in you?
Yes.
Then this is how easy it is. Like, we're not asking for alignment any longer. We're asking the body if it's on fire.
Okay.
And you can feel it. Like
Mhm.
in the mornings, like there's this slight tremor that happens when I'm feeling really fiery, and it's like, when I go and I do my a little morning ritual now. And it's like when I'm working through those things, there's a fire. I never had that in before. I felt alive, but there's a burning aliveness now. That's what you're looking for. That's the confirmation that you're looking for moving forward. And people want to be in each other's presence again. I mean, that's really going to be important for 26 is the companionships, the being around, your tribe kind of thing, but don't have tribal, that tribe mentality of, in some of the old traditional tribe mentalities, like there was an equalization, right? And that whole equalization will not get us anywhere moving into the future. And so we can't carry that kind of tribal kind of energy into the future. We can belong to a group of people, but we can't see them as a tribal kind of thing any longer, because there's a hierarchy in tribal mentalities. Like when I go to Peru, there's definitely tribal consciousness still there. I mean, it's very recognizable, and they talk about it all the time, how like how this person holds the tribe back, or how this person wants to get out of the tribe and do all these kinds of things. And so that whole mentality it can't move forward. It just stays stuck. So yeah, people are wanting to be in person a lot.
I've also been feeling like, if you want to call it the hermit energy, but more of less of like that rest and restore, to be like, oh, remember how great it feels to, I don't care if it's just wash your dishes or put the laundry away. It's like a different energy for me of versus that like frantic survival energy of like, oh my God, we have to throw the dishes in and start the laundry and do this. Like I've had this, I don't know if it's like a recalibration of like, we're like, I feel like the rest for me right now is helping me with that creation because I can't create when I'm in that survival. So I've been feeling just very nesty right now of like you, I don't know, the message I keep hearing is like you've done great work this whole year. Like now your time is done to just like rest, reflect, but also in that resting for me is where I have that creation.
Here's what I can say about remembering energy is we go through bouts of remembering, especially when you're shedding old stuff, or we're trying to understand what creation energy is, because we're not programmed to be creators. Haven't been for eons, really long time. And so we're trying to remember that kind of feeling, like we want to connect to and see what that is. But sometimes when we're working so hard to try to remember, it depletes the body. I can also tell you that if you're experiencing that, there's a chance that there's a stuck energy someplace, or energy that is still hanging on to something, or energy that doesn't allow for new energy to come into the body because it has whatever fear, or who knows. We're not going to judge the situation. We're just going to say, oh, so when you're in that kind of I need rest kind of energy, ask yourself if the body is there some place where the body's not feeling safe with new creative energy? Because a lot of us, including myself, have been, that's been a thing. And it probably will be a thing in 26 for some, especially in the beginning of the year. Not so much a bit after the first quarter, it doesn't look like, but beginning of the year, there's a lot of that. The body transforming, but it's not yet understanding what the energy is. And then if you're really questioning it, then what happens is the minds come in and trapped it. And the ego's behind the mind traps. So yeah.
Okay, so like this year, I feel like I dealt with a lot of the anger and I was definitely more hermity, but now I'm getting ready to like launch stuff I've been creating and stuff like that. Um, but my question is, crap, I'm losing my question. Um, so is it okay? First of all, I did have this question. Um, if you're at rest or relaxed in the rest of things, but when you're creative, oh, okay, I know what the question is. Okay, so I work at a restaurant. Should I be spending more time creating and cut down my hours and just believe in myself and be uncomfortable? Or should I go with my everyday life? Because I do feel like I need more space to create. So, what are your thoughts on something like that? Oh,
I can tell you that creative energy is instantaneous. What I feel like you're pulling, what you're trying to pull in or trying to pull in remembrance is a process. Creative energy is not a process. And remember, we have both shadow anger and we have awakening anger because we're looking around saying, what the heck is that? Why is that a false, like all these false flag thingies that are going on and all this, like, gosh, there is so much destructive energy in every area of, I don't care what career line you're in. I don't care what belief systems you're in. I don't care um, what geographic area you're in or what culture you're from. There is so much lies and falseness out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that can actually activate a lot of shadow energy, but it can also activate a lot of creation energy. And
that's actually what's happening to me right now.
so here's what I say. I don't say abandon what you know and what's bringing in money and what's making you feel safe. I think that there has to be some sort of a transition here. So and remember, creation energy is instantaneous. There's no process to it.
So also, that's what another question, real quick. So I usually do like morning rituals, and then I've been feeling guilty because I don't necessarily do that morning ritual. Do you feel like in creativity of being, and you said to drop alignment, which I try to drop into alignment to just flow. Is that kind of what you feel like?
It's not even flow. It's just creation. Creative energy doesn't have anything that we thought we knew in the past, honestly. It's just you connecting with the deep part of yourself and you're just allowing it to channel through you. Like your thoughts, all your thoughts will probably change. Your emotions will definitely change. There'll be more into the, what the spiritual world calls love and light energies, but it's more happiness. Like you're just happier with who you are because you could be more in alignment, but it's more about that creative kind of energy. It fulfills you. It literally like it doesn't worry about what do I need to heal or what do I need to release or what do I need to let go and none of that junk. It's all about, oh man, what can I create today? What do I get to create? Like where do I get to sign on the dotted line to make more money? Where do I get to like all these things? Right? There's somebody, God, I have all these notes. Okay, so somebody out there's this person who she has spent 90% of her life probably just buying lottery tickets or chances on something, and she wins every single time. I think she's lost twice in her life, and this is how she makes a living. Like she does all these things. This is her rules. Select it, project it, expect it, and collect it. That sums up this creative kind of energy without any kind of a doubt. And as long as you can be focused in that, if that can be your channel of, select it, project it, expect it, and collect it, if that's the overall arching umbrella, then go for it. Because that's very creative. I mean, she can get into that. If you can get into that kind of energy and create from that mindset, man, your life's going to be a blissful in 26.
Can you say that one more time?
Yes.
Select it,
Select it, project it, expect it, collect it. Stay in that kind of energy all the time. What happens is there's a visualization that happens with that, but there's also a certainty. There's a level of creative certainty. That Eros kind of energy where that's creative, that, man, creative energy is so powerful. It's probably the most powerful energy I've ever experienced. And I've been playing around for a long time. Y'all know. But it's the most powerful energy to date. And it's right here in us. There's no going out in the cosmos field and seeking it, none of that junk. It's inside of you. But it's those deep desires. That's where it burns. That's where it's alive. And alive and thriving should be our motto for 26 and beyond. All right. Anything else? Any place else you want to go?
So just to recap, so like if we're in this, for myself, protective hermity, whatever stage I'm in,
Yeah.
bull crap that I'm in. So like I am feeling that deep desire of what's to come, but how do we get out of this energy?
Create a new
permanentness?
practice. Don't create something from your old.
Okay.
Create a new practice and be creative every single day. Every single day. Several hours a day if you can sometimes. That Eros kind of energy, that's really what you're wanting to pick up on, right? That let me see, I had a list here someplace. Let me look. Okay, create daily. Don't try to explain or interpret anything or put meaning to anything. Try not to complete anything or, like that's your expectation. I mean, you can complete things. I'm not saying, it's like don't ever complete the dishes or anything like that. It's like try not to have completion as the end goal. Like you're just here experiencing. And don't ever check in if you're in alignment. Like that's going to be, it's hard energy. And create something new, like create a new practice. Like if you're like, I had to leave meditation, like, my 20 minutes a day meditative state. Yoga, I had to leave yoga. Now I do more walking or more swimming or more painting. Like I paint a lot. So create something different. You got to get out of the old practices. And add Eros every single day. And what is Eros? It's not sex. Well, it could be. But it is creative hunger. Like let yourself be hungry for something new. Let the body feel hungry. Let the mind feel hungry. That's a good one. If you can let the mind, those repeating programs, you can release them and let the mind just feel hungry for something different. Like that'll be a game changer. Anything else? Okay, I'm gonna stop record.